What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So a little bit more information about that Zotac Zone 2, or what's now being called the Zotac Zone Pro. A little bit more information about that device at a Gamescom. And we originally talked about it back in January and in May during those events, and they showed it with Linux, and they also showed it with Windows, but we really hadn't gotten a lot of information. So we'll take a look at this video cards article, see what they're saying here. Looks like we got a little more info for this device coming out of Gamescom. Zotac Zone Pro announced at Gamescom, high-end specs, high-end price, and I don't believe they've announced a price yet for this. Everybody's been really holding back on pricing, including Xbox with the Xbox Ally devices, even though those are only about a month and a couple of weeks, a month and a half away at this point. Zotac has been quiet about its Zone handheld series. The company's last system launched just weeks before MSI announced the Claw 8 AI Plus, powered by Lunar Lake, which hurt its promotion efforts along with the high-end price. And that thing came out in like September. It was really late with the hardware that it had, and the price was too high, and it really wasn't going to do well against other devices that were out at the time. Although Zotac is late to the market, AMD's Strix Point debuted a year ago. The company is now introducing its first handheld powered by Manjaro Linux. The system is called Zone Pro, not Zone 2 as previously rumored, but Zotac only recently corrected that. What matters is that the prototypes shown at CES in January and Computex in May looked identical, though the latter ran a different operating system. The final version will use Manjaro by default, while a Windows option remains likely based on earlier showcases. I would imagine with the hardware that's going to be in this device, it would not be hard to go ahead and just either dual boot and use Windows, or just install Windows if you didn't want to use Linux at all, and that will definitely be an option there. I'm pretty sure that won't really be an issue to do with this device, but default selling it with Linux on there certainly would help with the cost a bit, and it would help them lean into kind of the Linux software side of things here. PC Games Hardware reports that the Zone Pro delivers a 15 to 20% performance increase over the original 8840U model. Zotac chose Manjaro for its efficiency compared to Windows, supported directly by the Manjaro development team. This positions it as an alternative to SteamOS and Bakelite, which could either attract interest or push users away. And once again, it's either loaded up ready to go that way, give it a shot, but again, I don't think it's going to be that hard to just replace this and install Windows on there and have driver support and that type of thing. But of course, we'll have to see how that works out. In terms of hardware, the handheld is equipped with a Ryzen HX 370 featuring 12 Zen 5C cores, more than the Ryzen Z2 Extreme. Both APUs include NPU support, which is worth noting since AMD also launched a Ryzen AI Z2 with an NPU for the Xbox Ally. Graphics remain the same, with both models using the Radeon 890M GPU and 16 RDNA 3.5 compute units. Yeah, it's just more cutting out the NPU units or cutting down the CPU and making like the Z2 Extreme a little bit more efficient for handhelds and getting rid of some of that. But yeah, the Xbox Ally device, the X version, the black version, does have the Z2 Extreme AI version with those NPU cores. So it'll be interesting to see how all that kind of tests and compares to each other as these devices come out this fall. The system comes with 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5X 7500 memory. No 16 gigabyte or 24 gigabyte options were listed. Storage defaults to 1 terabyte, and connectivity includes 2 USB 4 ports. The weakest point is the 48.5 watt hour battery, unchanged from the previous generation. We talked about this in the past videos for this device too, that they were putting this chip in there. It was rumored before the HX 370 or something similar, and that 48.5 watt hour battery was also rumored to be the same thing in this device, being a smaller device with a 7-inch screen. And man, that's really going to eat through that fast in handheld mode, at least for demanding games. The Zotac Zone Pro is expected to launch in October, but pricing has not been confirmed. And again, like I was saying earlier, all these companies have these devices coming out in a month and a half, and we're still waiting for the finalized pricing and pre-orders and all that from a couple of them, including Xbox and Zotac here. But Zotac may be waiting for official ROG Xbox Ally pricing or relying on the 32 gigabyte memory and OLED screen option to gain attention. Meanwhile, Lenovo's Legion Go 2 is also set to debut soon, which means ASUS, Lenovo, and Zotac are all aiming for Q4 launches, with MSI as the exception, because MSI actually already launched their A8 Z2 Extreme device like 2 months ago in China and then like Germany, and it's available in a couple of areas and regions, but still here in the US I can't order one from anywhere, any storefront, anything like that. I have to go on eBay and overpay, and I'm not going to do that to review the device or anything like that. So right now I'm waiting on the Legion Go 2, which I'll be pre-ordering, the as well as the Xbox Ally X device, and I don't believe I'll be bothering with the Zotac Zone Pro, but we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, it's interesting with MSI. They've definitely had a pretty rough launch. So I do hope Asus, Lenovo, Zotac can all do a little bit better job when it comes to launching their handhelds versus what MSI has done with that A8Z2 Extreme device. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for now. I saw this pop up and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because we've covered this before and it's just an interesting device to kind of keep an eye on. I'm kind of surprised that they're still just moving forward with it, I guess. We'll have to see how this one works out for them versus their last attempt at the handheld. It's not necessarily that it's a bad handheld, but there are some things that could hold it back. Even though the screen's OLED, it is still 7-inch, which is going to turn some people off if we've got used to bigger screens. That battery, 48.5 watt hour, could burn through really quickly on this. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it works out and what the actual pricing of this is going to be. I would very much expect it to be that 800 to 900 or even pushing it a little bit more. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.